Welcome to another show of Culture Gumbo. I am your host, Shakira, alongside the infamous.
I'm infamous today?
You're infamous today.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of us is not having the best day. And the other
You
one
sure it's
is
just one? Well,
the other one
listen.
is just oblivious to it all. Welcome to Culture Gumbo, the place where we talk about all of the week's news in our culture, along with a side of banter or spicy talk, as you want to call it. We got a great show for you all today. As she said, that Shakira, I'm Will. Y'all know how these shows be starting out. Y'all know how Shakira do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
Oh,
see
put it
how,
on me. Yeah.
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? She got the blue glasses on today. Shakira wants to fight today. You know what I'm saying? So,
No,
but it's all good. So
nothing for love and peace.
let's go ahead and get started. Now we always start with sauce talk. So Shakira, how are you? How are you feeling today?
I don't know if I want to answer that question. Um, I'm feeling today.
Right.
That's important. That's important. It's important to feel.
Okay.
It is important to feel. Feel your feelings, identify them, and that's that.
Say word. I'm chilling today. It's been a hell of a week. Um, got some news that I technically I can't share right now. But just taking care of my family, make sure everything is good. Other than that, man, I can't complain. Um, I'm of the mindset that things can always be worse, and you
That
give
is the
thanks for
truth.
the circumstances, especially if you're able to come out of them fully whole and to be able to tell a dope story. So I'm smiling today, no matter what, man. I got me a soursop smoothie earlier. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Pick
know
me
what
up
that is.
some plantains. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cooking some plantains this week, man. I'm in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? We got our 90-day check-in also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are coming up on the end
Mm-hmm.
of our 90-day challenge, which if you're not familiar, our 90-day challenge, we challenge each other to literally work on some things and create better habits for ourselves, things that we want to call ourselves out on. And it's been growing good for me. Like I said, I've found myself expanding in ways that I did not know. Um, Podcasting is going amazing. Working on a screenplay right now, learning Spanish. Uh, and
Good stuff.
I'm out here losing weight, you know what I'm saying? So ladies, I'm gonna have this one ab soon, so you know what I'm saying? LL Fat Wildress, come holler at your boy. One ab. That's all I need, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to be fluffy
Whatever makes you happy.
and let the joints adore me, you know what I'm saying? So, that's what it is. So how is your 90 how's your 90
Um, so right, you're not gonna be human if you don't say that it doesn't it doesn't always have to be good, right?
mm-hmm.
Like most of the time we do these challenges, or especially me, I'm the queen of challenges. Like I will take a challenge all the time. Most of the time with the goal in mind that I'm gonna win, that I'm gonna beat it. Um, I think the biggest thing about this 90-day challenge is, we talked about some things that we wanted to work on ourselves, whether it was internal or external, or some projects or some movement of some sort to keep going. I will say I am proud of the consistency of this show. And us, despite however the week is or whatever's going on, the consistency, I'm proud, about that. We have been now going the 90 days and really sticking to it. So I'll say that. um I think for me it's been challenging. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, the 90 days has been great. It's been challenging because it is me versus me. And so I feel like right now I can identify with what is happening. And I feel like ultimately by the end of this year, I'm going to come out stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But in the 90 days, I think I've been challenged mentally, Physically, I mean, I have started to be consistent with exercising and walking, but I feel like I'm not pushing myself hard enough to get where I want to go. And so I think like sometimes we can do stuff and it's that bare minimum. So it's like you're doing it to say check, but you're not actually throwing yourself into it to say, I am emptying my tank for real, for real. And I think right now I'm at that space where this 90 days have been like a wake up call for it's time to empty your tank. Like it is time to empty your tank. And whatever you need to do that when those obstacles come or those days you don't feel like getting out the bed or you don't want to do anything or you're beating yourself up with just the words that you're saying to yourself is about, what do I need to get out of this? So I think this 90-day challenge has been great because for me, it's been more of a wake up call to admit to where I am and where I want to be.
Right. That's understandable. I mean, you've done some tremendous things. If y'all don't know, Shakira is multi-talented. She's very hard on herself, which we always talk about. But it's I've been watching and we've had conversations. Just continue to grow and expand. I'm proud of you of everything you're doing. I'm excited to see what's going to come out of this.
Me too.
You've used a phrase continuously that I'm like, oh, she about to set it off. She about to have her Janet Jackson Velvet Rope year because you keep talking about going into 2023. You know what I'm saying, on some other stuff. So I know you're determined and you're excited for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We have our last check-in. It's actually going to be the second show in September. Will be our final check-in where we'll get to tell you everything. So if you are doing your own check-in, definitely let us know in the comments because our Instagram page is alive and well. So definitely, let us know how you're feeling, how you're doing. So we definitely look forward to hearing about it. Man, let's go ahead and get into the show, yo. We got some great things to cover.
Yes.
Also, sad things, man, because
yes.
I'm so tired of coming on the show and saying R.I.P. to somebody. That's what sucks.
I know.
So let's jump into
it's happening more than you like it.
Yeah, let's jump in real quick to our culture news. So we only got one thing. So y'all know that we don't really like to say his name here. But we hope Buddy is fresh as hell because the feds is watching. If you didn't know, if you've been under rock, you've been paying attention. Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, his Mar-a-Lago home was raided by the FBI on Monday. So he was definitely upset about it. They were definitely looking for documents at his resort in Palm Beach, Florida. This is what he calls the Winter White House. And it was literally in part of an investigation into the handling of presidential documents that were considered classified. I mean, of course,
that weren't supposed to even be removed from the White House.
Yeah, and of course he went on Twitter to try to, say his piece. I'm not even going to repeat the things that he said, but one of the things that really kind of shook me about it was when they were talking about some of the stuff that happened in Mar-a-Lago. So I don't know if you got a chance to read it, but it says that Monday's seizure by the FBI agents of multiple sets of documents in dozens of boxes, including information about the U.S. defense, a reference to the French president, and it posed a frightening scenario for our intelligence experts who are looking into it. The DOJ, they haven't provided specific information about where the documents and photos were stored. The one thing I do know is that they're currently getting the finger and thumbprints off each piece of paper so they can find out who touched it and how it got there. So let me give you an example of some of the things that happened in Mar-a-Lago that has intelligence very worried concerning. So in a one high-profile example, in 2017, Trump huddled with then Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at an outdoor dinner table while guests hovered nearby, and they were listening and taking pictures. So the dinner would cause them to hover over and discuss things. The dinner was disrupted by a North Korean missile test. Guests were listening to the Prime Minister and Trump discuss what to say in response and how they felt about the test. So, Shakira, I'm just going to ask. What,
Listen, here's the sad part. I don't think he's gonna go down for it.
nah. I think Merrick Garland got a solid joint here, yo. Something's gotta happen.
I feel like this is a setup. Like it is a setup. First of all, you know how many hoops you got to go through to be able to get to raid a former president's house.
Exactly.
So I know that they have solid proof. We know that.
Right.
But we also know how crooked the United States is. If somebody get a little extra money or some hush hush here, I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in the system. I don't see, he's still talking about running in 2024.
Well, so the fact that he's been raided and he's under investigation, apparently, there's a clause that states that he's not going to be able to run.
Right. It would make him ineligible, but I don't know. Money talks. And he didn't get in this position without his money.
He broke. He is broke.
I doubt it.
He's living out these foolish people.
His kids got money.
I think they about to go to jail too.
I hope they go to jail. I mean, honestly, I really hope the whole family go to jail because their crooked is all get out.
What's funny is being from the hood, yo, you don't ever wish anybody to ever go to jail. But it's like, I think we all collectively are like cheering and like, yo, let's just get this done.
He's guilty. I mean, if we're going to make history, he made history coming into the office. Let's make history putting him behind jail.
Yeah, so he was pleading the fifth. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Hopefully Merrick Garland can get something to stick, especially after January 6th. So we'll definitely
hopefully, but I don't know. Because even the GOP members of GOP still backing him, still like, no, he's not guilty. You know, like they're for him. I feel, listen, and where I live in Tennessee, they still have I have digital boards, big posters, like people are still for him. And if there's enough money and backing, I will remove my hands and say, yes, I believe that we can convict him. But the real reality is,
you got to have some faith, Shakira. We're gonna get this done. The U.S. gonna get this done. It's all good. We ain't got to talk about it.
We dropped a ball on so many things that I feel like it had to get to this point because of how many people was knocking down the doors to be like, so y'all just gonna let him live? Like, knowing that, I mean, he spilled secrets. It was so much wrong in his whole presidency. And then just the cahoots that he have gotten with international leaders. I'll wait.
But you know what? So here's my thing, right? And you are 100% right. But I want to take Merrick Garland as someone who can get stuff done after he was able to get the officer in the Breonna Taylor case, which the previous
right.
So I want to take that as a positive sign that moving forward that we're not going to have issues in getting this stuff done. But you were absolutely right. It's always shaky, and Bull made a tough line. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And they're like, oh, he's been so cooperative with us. Yeah, because he knew this day was coming.
He ain't been cooperative.
He's dumb, but he is a really dumb, smart man. So, okay. We will come back to you on an update with how this is going. We're gonna continue talking about this.
Man, it's crazy. So let's get into the main ingredients of it all. So Shakira, last week I was hurt because Samara broke up. I was a little hurt. This week we wake up to a text message from, not a text message, a Twitter
Tweet.
tweet, a Twitter tweet. I'm all over the place. Angela Yee tweeted, "The Breakfast Club, as you know it, is officially over."
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, Angela Yee announced that she'll be departing the Breakfast Club to host her own syndicated show. As she said on the show Wednesday morning, she's really excited. She said this is something that she's been waiting to do for years now, before the pandemic, actually. And she actually had to sit down with the major bosses at iHeart, which is the show that actually runs the Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling the boss, "Look, I really want to have my own show. You know, I have my podcast, which she has lip service, and I was thinking I would be able to get something like a weekend situation." So her new show coming soon on iHeart is going to be a national daily program. So
Yeah, syndicated show.
she's going to be with Breakfast Club, I think, for maybe another month, while they get everything finalized. But after that, it's just going to be Charlemagne and DJ Envy.
Nobody's listening after that.
I think people will still listen. There's actually a lot of people I found when I was looking on Twitter and talking to friends that don't like Angela Yee.
I wasn't a fan of Angela Lee. I'm gonna be 100% with you.
So,
So
what are your thoughts on this? And on top of that, what do you think their legacy is going to be?
So the Breakfast Club is monumental. We know where all of these people came from when this show first started. I listened to the Breakfast Club for many years. I think Angela Yee brought a different dynamic from a woman's perspective. She was very quiet at the beginning. As far as their legacy, I mean, they have already created it. You know, now anybody could take over the Breakfast Club, to be honest with you, because the format of that show has already, people know what to expect. Now, granted, they'll probably still love Charlemagne being there. They love the donkey of the day. You know, Envy, hit or miss. He could not be there. You could put another DJ. You could put Clue, for all that matters, in there, and it'll be fine. That's how I feel. My personal opinion. But I honestly, I mean, I think that, you know, I mean, I think that they will continue on. And as far as her, I mean, she's still going to get checks when their show is syndicated later. And I actually was really happy to see that she's moving on, because at the end of the day, like, how long do you stay stuck, right? How long do you stay in the same position? Like, the difference is Charlemagne got a lot of other checks from different. He has his show. He has like he has his podcast.
He has a podcast network, actually.
Yeah. So like his income, his checks come from multiple sources. He sometimes does a lot of interviews separately. So like at some point you got to feel like, I want to shine too. You know what I mean? Now Envy, he does his whole real estate thing and the car shows, and he still DJs. I think he still DJs. I'm not sure, but and then he has that. So it's like he's good and he's content with where he is. But her, it's like eventually she knew possibly that, you know, I could be replaced at some point. So why not elevate? And she said this is something she always wanted to do. So I feel like while you're on the high, go to that next level. So I'm truly, I was happy to hear it. Like, yes, get your own, because worst case scenario, you're still going to get checks. You got other stuff going on.
It seemed like every other week there was something coming out saying that they were going to break up, or there was issues. I remember there were issues between apparently her and Charlemagne.
I don't think she gets to really speak on that show. Like, Charlemagne comes up with the majority of all the questions when they're interviewing people. When I watch interviews, like it's his show to a degree, and she gets to maybe, you know, chime in and every once in a while. And there was a point where she was talking more, but late in the last recent years, she's pulled back, because it's like, you know what, I'm not going to fight over who's going to interview who. So he wanted to be his show, let it be his show.
So I don't want to say that she didn't get a chance to talk, but because it seems like every show. So what I saw was a lot of times the shows where they had female guests, the female guests always seem to have something against her. Like something was always going on between her and the female
because
guests.
she's very, when she's not even on that show, sometimes she says some things, then on other interviews and shows she said some things, and there's a lot of women that don't like her because of her point of view on certain women and how she feels in her opinion. So there are a lot of women that be like, I'm here for Charlamagne.
It seemed like she couldn't catch a break, like especially after the Nicki Minaj interview. That was a mess.
Right.
And then the whole thing with K Michelle, then you had the thing with Gucci that happened. So it's just kind of like, I get why she would want to leave, but it's one of those things where like you have the number one show apparently, like nationwide, I believe, and you're leaving. So to me, it's like there's more than meets the eye there.
No, but sometimes especially when you're overly opinionated,
yeah,
and then you got people in your ear saying you could do da 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 da. They don't need to. They need you. You know. You also gotta realize, especially in this industry, there's always so many people talking in your ear, like they want you over here or they want you. And so I feel like sometimes when you're overly opinionated, you start to get a big head. Let's be honest. Like I when I first interned on the radio, and I worked at the station in DC, and the DJs that were on there at the time, like they were very, sometimes really controversial with the heads of the department, because they felt like they should be able to play what they want to play. They should play whatever songs they want to play. Like if it's hot and it's underground, it's hip hop. It was a hip hop show, hip hop show. And so sometimes that's what also bumps heads. It's the station, the program manager, the station manager, and then what content you want to talk about or what artists you want on there. And they're not feeling that. So sometimes that pivot to having your own show is because I get to have whoever I want to have on. And I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about versus y'all telling me what I need to talk about.
Okay, I get that. So, final question, talking about the Breakfast Club. You said that they can be replaced. Who should or who can you see replacing them? Whether it's a one person, 2-person, or 3-person team. Give me the nationally syndicated show that you think would be a great fit for that slot.
No, so I would keep Charlamagne. Just because he's entertaining in itself. Like he's corny and entertaining. So I would keep him, and he's in the know, and I like the diversity of some of the stuff that he talks about. So I would keep him. Envy, it could be another DJ. I
mean, I'm not sure. It doesn't have to be a DJ.
I know. I'm thinking because it's who would I care to listen to, that really care about their opinion. I'll get back to you on that. The replacement for Angela Yee for me would be, I would like to see Little Mo in New York. I love her. I love her energy on her show. She has a show. She does have her a show, but it would be nice if she came over there, or even what's her name? Mona. She has a podcast. She's from Philly. She's raw. She's light bright. Yeah, you don't know.
I'm trying to think about.
I'm sure you've seen her on Instagram. She's on Instagram and she has a YouTube podcast. She's raw.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Are you talking about Mona Love? Don't Call Me White Girl?
Yes, Don't Call Me White Girl. I would like to see her on the radio show with, first of all, her and Charlamagne combination.
Nah, that's that's too much. I can't see that.
It would be a lot. But you know what? It'll probably have him open up his show. Because he does have a little bit of a show.
I would like to see Kenny Burns.
Okay.
Kenny Burns actually had a show in Atlanta that he recently stopped. The Kenny Burns show on V103.
He did. He
Um,
did.
and that was in like an afternoon time slot, and it did really good. I think Kenny Burns would be great in there. The whole thing about New York is that New York is so hard because where do you put them? Unless you decide to just say forget it and we're gonna do anybody in that spot, and it doesn't just have to be a Power 105 show. In that case, let me give you a
Well, that would be totally different because then we're not talking about replacing. I'm talking about who would you want to hear in the morning on the Breakfast Club
Power 105
talking that?
New York.
Yes.
It's the only person that I could really see falling into that slot that people would love, but I know that she wouldn't probably do it is Angie Martinez.
She's already on Power 105.
Right, but she would have that morning slot.
No, she
I
does
can't.
better in her evening. She does
I
better
can't
in her
see.
evening show.
It's talk radio early in the morning. There's not too many people that I can see being able to fill that slot successfully because 9 times out of 10, everybody's gonna want something comparable to the
That's
Breakfast
why
Club.
most of them have
Let me,
comedians on those shows too.
let me give you a dark horse. Let's get Desus or Mero. One or the other.
One or the other. In New York,
In New York. And then you
get them him and Joe Button.
Absolutely not. And then you get a female radio personality. Why not?
That could work. Well, they just split up, so you never know if one of them might fill in Angela Yee spot.
I personally think Desus is getting ready to do a night show. I think he's about to do something major. Like he's about to be crazy.
See, because night shows, I feel like you can do what you want. You can have who you want. You can do what you want. I feel like morning shows, it's a little more restrictive.
Well, when I say night show, I'm talking like a television show.
Right.
I think he about to go crazy. Like with everything coming out about them and why they split up, I think he about to skyrocket crazy.
That'll be dope.
So that would be dope. Last but not least, Serena the Goat. She announced her retirement coming up. She stated that she's literally done. She had an amazing shoot with Vogue, basically where she makes the announcement and stated that after the 2022 U.S. Open, that she's going to be evolving away from tennis. Now, Venus is a 23-time Grand Slam champion. It's hard to imagine her to not be in tennis, considering the fact that her and Venus literally revolutionized how we felt about the sport. She'll be 40. Well, she is 40, I believe.
She'll be 41.
Or she'll be 41. Coming up. If you haven't read the Vogue article is amazing. Her husband, Otana, I'm butchering his name. I'm sorry. But
definitely are.
He gave an amazing. Don't do this. He gave an amazing tribute to her in stating how important she was, and it's Alexis Ohanian. I'm sorry. And literally just talked about literally everything that we talk about with Serena
right.
in the career that she's left behind. How do you feel about her retirement, and what do you think is going to be next for her? Because everything that she does, she runs with it.
Right. So she does have a foundation. She does do a lot of investment, right? First of all, I was shocked for the announcement, but also really proud because it takes a lot to make a decision to stop doing the one thing that you've always loved. Mm-hmm. That was your first love before anything. But she's doing it for her family. Her daughter wants a sibling, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna sit this out. I'm gonna be a mom. And I think people neglect sometimes that is a role. Like that is a role, that is a career sometimes for whatever amount of years you choose for it to be. but let's not forget, like, I mean, there's no more proving that Serena has to do. There's no more proving that Serena or Venus has to do, but it's just the passion. And so do I think that we won't see her on the court again? I don't believe that. I think right now this is what she wants to do and this is what she feels she needs to do. So she may take a year, 2, maybe 3 off. But I do see her starting to be a coach for other the next generation of tennis players.
Really?
Yeah, that because she's gonna want to get her hands in it. It's impossible. You don't think so?
I don't see it. So like, even when you look at her quotes, like this sounds more or less, and I don't want to put words in her mouth. This is just my observation. This sounds more or less like Serena maybe feels like she doesn't have the passion, or maybe she feels like it's time to walk away before skills start diminishing. So let me read to you
No, I
what
didn't
she
take
said.
that. I read
She
the
said
article. I
she
didn't
said that
get
she's
that.
been reluctant to admit to herself and the people around her that I have to move on from playing tennis. She stated, unlike many people she's played against, she's not exactly excited at the prospect of retiring. There's no happiness in this topic for me. I know it's not the usual thing to say, but I feel a great deal of pain. It's the hardest thing that I could ever imagine. I hate it, and I hate that I have to be at this crossroads. I keep saying to myself, I wish it could be easy for me, but it's not. I'm torn, and I don't want it to be over, but at the same time, I'm ready for what's next. Now, the one thing that you have to remember is that this is coming after her first round exit at Wimbledon this year. So for me, it's one of those things like it's like Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan went to the Wizards, although Serena is still an even though amazing player, although Michael Jordan was still giving you 25 and 6, um, it's like when Mike was like with the Wizards, he was like, listen, I can't do this anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
I love to compete, but I'm tired. Number one, she doesn't have anything to prove, anything left to prove, like you said. Number two, also, it's like I said, she's 40, and she also wants to have a kid. One of the reasons she's also stepping away is because her and Alexis want to have another kid.
I think that's the main reason. I
So,
don't think she would walk away otherwise.
so I don't think, she has a kid. She's going to turn 41. She has a kid, maybe 42, 43. I can't see successful Serena Williams with so many things going on. A beautiful family. You're literally the GOAT of the sport. I can't see her saying, I think I'm going to pick up the tennis racket again.
No, but that's why I say I think she's going to go for helping the next generation. There's no way. Tennis is her life. She's not just going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm just going to just take my kid to school and sit home and do nothing, or go to board meetings with my husband. Like, they both, I mean, money is not the issue. Talent's not the issue.
Right.
But it's now like I do have to live a life outside of what I've known for so long. And that's the scary part, for everybody else. I mean, we know what it's like, to day in and day out. And from a lot of people, you aren't doing what you love to do. So you don't know what it's like to give that up. But I think the biggest thing is making that decision and then saying, well, I still have to be around it some way. And so I feel like she is going to come back to the court, but not in the way of her being a player, her being a teacher. So we'll see. But I'm so happy that she made that decision. And it's hard because once you hit that 40, unfortunately, you realize there is a next phase to life. And what does that look like for you? It's the new midlife crisis. My take.
Yes, I get it. Well, whether this is the last time or not, definitely want to say thank you for everything she's done. She's done some amazing things for the sport in my mind. I discussed this on our MTMV podcast today. Serena Williams is on the Mount Rushmore of athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. And she's going to be missed, but we have tons of footage, she's a a legacy. Her and her sister, and I think her sister will still continue to play. But I mean, it's great that we had the opportunity to say, like, we seen that legend in the making, those legends in the making, which introduced Black people to really turn their head to tennis, which for a while, not all of us, some privileged, some of us that are privileged, yes, but those that were not knew nothing about it until we seen two sisters that look like us playing. Definitely. So,
well, up next, we have the discussions of the week. Shakira, I'm gonna go ahead and let you lead this one. This one is a doozy.
So recently there was in the news a nurse who I will say is a former Bison, such as myself, a Howard University graduate. She killed 6 people, including a pregnant woman and a baby, in Los Angeles last week or Thursday. And she ran through a red light and the car immediately went on fire. The thing about it is she did not die, but every other car that she hit, and babies and unborn child, did not make it. It was said recently she just had her trial, or not even pre-trial, where it was said that there may be some mental issues, which brought up the topic of friends. If this was your friend, I did not know her personally going to Howard, but I do know people that did. If this was your friend, would you support her in this? And what is the extent of friendships do you support, right? Because we have friends that we've been friends with 15, 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, but they're more like family now. And they do heinous crime. And let's not also forget the fact that this person had 13 prior other vehicle accidents involving other people. But needless to say, what is your cutoff? Is it child pornography? Is it killing, in a auto accident? Is it pulling out a gun and shooting somebody in the face? Is there a boundary to have when it comes to the support of your friends?
My boundary is when I realize that your messy ass ain't gonna change and you ain't gonna stop.
But how do you know?
I'm a loyal person. I'm a loyal person. So one time, all right, you messed up. 2 times, listen, what the fuck?
So what if in this girl case you never knew about her prior? You only found out you was watching the news, and
but if I didn't know about her prior, and then after I watched the news and it all came out, hell no.
You're not supporting her. You're not going to come to the court. You're not going to sit in the
13 times. You knew what you were doing. You weren't drunk. There was nothing of that sort. You literally.
Yeah, but she had mental issues.
Okay, she had mental issues, so she needs to get help. But at this point in my life, and at this point in my life and my age, with the things that I've been through, my tolerance level for anybody else's bullshit is very low. Because if you laughing, because you know how I operate. The fact of the matter is, I'm super loyal. But I also understand that being loyal can also sometimes be a crutch. Right. And sometimes you're holding on to these individuals who clearly don't want help, who clearly won't accept the help, and who clearly don't think that they have a problem. So
not
she
clearly, though.
If she has but the thing is,
she's a nurse. So here's the other piece. She's taking care of people in a hospital somewhere, and then she gets in her car.
Where's her family at?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Where's her family? Listen, I love my friend, Joe, and I've had my issues too, and like we all do. But no, I'm not. Absolutely not. Do you
okay, so what is your cutoff? What is your boundary? So what says I will stick beside him or her?
You got 3 times, big dog.
Okay, so you'll give them 3 strikes. So if they kill 3 people, with a gun. Like they felt like it was some, like, oh, somebody came to the
That could
door,
be.
they didn't know, and they ended up shooting them in the leg.
Oh,
Like,
that's
okay,
different. That's different because you were defending yourself.
okay. And then the second time, they were startled and they just ended up shooting them. You know what I mean?
They were
Or the
startled the
third
second time
time,
you got somebody?
it was a significant other, and they just tried to pistol whip them, but they ended up killing them.
With all due respect, if this shit is happening to you on 3 separate occasions, there is a
It
bigger
could be years apart.
there is a bigger issue that we need to discuss. There's
I'm
a
just
bigger
saying.
issue.
I'm
Oh,
just
okay,
saying. So,
okay.
so you said
know?
three. You said you got 3 strikes. So I'm trying to figure out, well,
I
what's
got,
the 3?
I got
You
3.
ran a red
I got,
light,
I got
or
3 strikes, but it depends on the situation. Now, if the first strike is you done killed all these people and you done killed this baby, nah, dog, we done. Because this is not a situation where, oh, it was an accident or she was drunk. Based off the report in the article and all the information that came out, she knew exactly what the fuck she was doing.
right.
So no, that's done. That's a wrap.
But I mean, she knew, but she didn't. We know mental illness
I mean,
has
are
a
you?
spectrum.
How many? Okay, you asking me? You can make all these excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to fully understand. So for me, right? If I had a friend that actually this happened to, right? Because I mean, I went to Howard. This could be any of my friends.
At Howard, that's how y'all getting down to HU?
No, I'm just saying, like, she went to Howard. This could be
Hampton
any.
Is the real HU, right?
No, Howard is the real HU. Cut it out. Don't do that on the show. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if it was me,
yo, you was ready to check me. I felt it. I was like, let me go ahead and see if I can try it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. But if it was me, honestly, so I don't have a 3 strike you're out policy. If it's something that happened accidentally, I would be there to support them. In this particular, but there's no 3 strike. Like, there's no 3, like, no, and the reason why I say this is because there was a time in my life where, I happened to excessively drink alcohol. And for sometimes with some people, alcohol can make you violent. And sometimes things can happen when you're violent and under the influence. And so I say that to say, like, I would sympathize if something like that happened. But if you do anything with children, I'm not supporting you. If you accidentally, touch your cousin or a family member or whoever, I'm not. My support is I won't be in court.
No, you don't.
I pray for you from a distance, though, and I will recommend some places to help you out, because I do have a kind heart. But as far as me coming to visit you, I don't do jail visits. I've never have. I never will. I don't even care what you did. I'll never visit you, because I just feel like whatever you did that got you there, there's a reason that you're there. So. But I mean, and that goes for family as well for me, but I feel like, some people are always there. And I have a sister that is a criminal attorney, and some of the crimes are crazy, but the courtroom for that support of that person be real. It'd be the baby mother, the girlfriend, the mother, the friend, and they all like, I'm gonna stick beside them. No, I don't care if they kill 8 people. I'm gonna stick beside them, even though I know, it wasn't self-defense.
I'm a loyal person. Anybody would say that. I'm a loyal person. I ride with you to the end. I actually have friends who are doing biz in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not above it. I grew up a different way. I did different things when I was younger. I was troublesome. But no, because people will pull you in to their shit on a consistent basis.
Right.
They will be a crutch to the situation. Especially in drastic situations, like, absolutely not. Like, if you're a rapist, if you're a pedophile, fuck no. Honestly, I don't want you around me. I don't keep those kind of people around me either way. I am very sympathetic to someone who has mental health issues, but your mental health issues killed 6 individuals, including a woman with an unborn child and a baby, my sympathy is no longer
It's
available
just your
there.
disregard for
Yes,
life. Her disregard for
yes,
life was
right,
it was
right.
more geared for her. But my thing is, you were better if you really want to kill yourself. There's much easier ways than driving through traffic.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't. I just
So
can't get down with that because I've been the friend who's been too loyal to somebody on long period of time, and you end up in the weirdest situations that you can't explain to nobody, and then you looking
right,
back and you're like, why was I loyal? And then when you need that person, of course, they're not around. So no, I don't
right.
believe in that, yo. My friendship got an expiration date if you on that bullshit, and I ain't apologizing. So
That's it. Point blank. Period.
well,
But I say this. Yeah, check your friend circle. Because if you would ride for them, make sure you ask yourself the question: are they going to ride for me? And
yeah.
there are people that help people cover up stuff and do stuff, but will they do it for you? And
Oh,
if the answer is no, then that's not your
you,
friend, son.
you almost dry snitching there. That's different conversation. Covering up something. That's different conversation.
I'm just saying, like, there's people that they'll go to whatever length. So, check your friend circle. Anyway.
Let's move on. Because you out here dry snitching. It's time to get spicy. So, all right, let's go get into our season of spicy. Last week, we talked about Irv Gotti and his chatty pattiness and all this other shit. And, of course, Fat Joe responded. Ja Rule responded. I thought we were about to get a Ja Rule Fat Joe beef. And I was just like, Lord, please no. Don't let this happen.
Right.
The
That
Murder
doesn't
Inc.
need to happen.
documentary dropped this week with the first episode airing on Tuesday. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not watch it. So you
So,
tell me what your thoughts were from the first episode.
so overall, I can't deny it. Irv Gotti is a musical. He's a musical genius. He's
That's without a
he
doubt,
has an
right?
eye for talent. He has an eye for things. This is literally like a love song to himself, basically, because Murder Inc. is basically about uh Irv Gotti and how he came up and how he created everything. You can find out
Mm-hmm.
some tidbits, you know what I'm saying? Of course, his internships, helping to discover everyone from I believe Mike Geronimo, Jay-Z to Ja Rule to DMX. He actually quit working Def Jam because Def Jam wouldn't sign DMX, and he kept telling people how big
Right.
DMX
I knew that story.
would be. It gets into some great stories. It talks about his relationship with individuals in the industry. Jay Z's in the documentary. Leor Cohen's in the documentary. So it's a 5-part series that's still going. Of course, we're gonna get in part two. Part two gets messy. We know what part two is about. So I'm watching it, but after the Drink Champ episode, I got a little bit of taste in my mouth because I'm like,
Right.
big dog, like you're a multi-millionaire. Why are you discussing this? Let that woman alone.
Because he wants to stay relevant.
It's,
I think it
he's
gets to the
still,
point,
it
but
sounds like
he's not.
old.
He's not. Like, at the end of the day, like, he's in the next generation. He's in, my generation growing up or
Like,
whatever.
when he tells the story of finding out that Ashanti is with Nelly, the irony that he's at home with his wife watching NBA TV is
I
just
seen an Instagram meme. I don't know if you've seen it. There was this guy that played him
Woo
and
Young.
played yes.
Yes.
He was so funny because he was like, so you was at home, your wife was in the kitchen cooking, right? Uh-huh. And then that's when you was watching them on the TV, like, and it's like,
It's
and you
corny.
don't feel embarrassed by telling this story. Like, I would feel embarrassed. Like, first of all, it's a like 15, what is it, over 15-year-old story? So,
I
you
don't.
know, um,
This is, I'm so
so my
disappointed every
question
time I think
is
about
it
it.
worth watching this documentary?
The documentary, if you're a hip hop head and you love music and you love hearing about the come ups, it's a great documentary. Do you
Okay.
have to brace yourself for the obvious, probably Ashanti episode? Of course, because in the upcoming episode, that's what they're getting ready to get into. Like
That's so embarrassing.
he feels really betrayed because like she didn't want to stick around while they were getting raided by the feds. Like she's not a thug. Like
That's like Diddy saying why J-Lo ended my relationship after we got shot at when we were leaving the club. Like,
that I do want to know because you was just Jenny from the block a week ago.
no, that was
Now,
all a facade. That was all a
now when it's
facade.
time to be Jenny from the block,
She was
Jennifer
like
Lopez.
Jenny from the block that moved blocks up that don't no longer see the block anymore.
Jenny got
So
off the block and went to the suburbs and got.
she was like, oh no, 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 I'm not this gangster. I'm
That
done.
was so that man. That is such a funny thing to me when people bring that up and I'm like, yo, she's like, oh man, did he probably mad that he left? No, dog, like you were Jenny from the block. You was wearing bandanas,
Not
shorty.
after that
You was
day.
kicking it with Shine. Now it's really time for you to be Jenny from the block.
She was like,
Now
I
you're
thought we had money.
Jenny from the block turned into.
I thought this was just like to say this is where we're from.
Jenny from the block turned into Jennifer from the suburbs with the white picket fence.
It was Jennifer. She went from Jenny to Jennifer. So yeah. Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna watch the Murder Inc. doc. Good.
I ain't gonna keep that out of my head now. And Ashanti wrote Jenny's lyrics. So
oh yeah, Ashanti got the bag. She wrote for a lot of people.
Yeah, Ashanti got. Finally, Wendy Williams, your favorite person. While she's not returning to television this fall, Sherry Shepherd is taking over her show, and that show and the Wendy Williams show is no longer available. On Tuesday, Williams teased that she is returning with a new podcast, the Wendy Experience. Now, Wendy, who's 58, shared a brief video on her Instagram page saying, "Co-host, I'm famous and I'll be back. Trust me, I'll be back." The clip also included the podcast logo, but it didn't include any other details. She actually began teasing this project probably about last month, where she talked about it with the New York Post. So, Shakira, you're a big fan of Wendy Williams?
I wouldn't say big fan, but I will say I do. I
was capping for it.
I like Wendy Williams. I do, but I'm not like, I wouldn't say big fan now. But I've been listening to her since she's been on the radio. So let's I loved everybody that was on the radio, especially back in the day. I'm excited for this podcast, because it's time for her to get her coins. I really feel like it wasn't fair that once she had her medical issues and was off the show, that she wasn't getting any checks for these shows that everybody else was hosting on her behalf. I feel like that she got messed over. And then, of course, her ex-husband is not in the picture anymore, so he couldn't advocate or fight for that. And it probably wasn't anybody fighting for her to at least get a portion, because now you're using her. How you doing? You're doing everything that she helped create, and she not getting a check for it. So it's only right for her to go and start her own podcast and make that money. That's all I'm saying.
No, I don't feel bad for Wendy Williams.
I do.
A whole bunch of people's lives. She's made a career out of gossip and going above and beyond to try to embarrass people. And she went through stuff. Am I sympathetic to people going through things? Yes. But to be quite honest, man, a lot of stuff is karma. But everybody agree with me, but a lot of
I have read that people said it was karma, but the reality is this though. She wouldn't be famous if it wasn't so many people enjoying and listening. If you don't have any audience, you don't have a show. So she got rich.
Ain't nobody either.
Huh?
But that ain't nobody either. That's like saying, people love the Shade Room, so the Shade Room should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
No, I'm saying people love it, so she's going to get a check from it. Just like reality. Once we went from sitcoms and scripted shows to reality TV, what won? Reality TV, because everybody wanted to see people fighting on TV, cursing each other out, and all of that stuff. So am I advocating for her talking about people? No. But what I'm saying is she built her brand off of that, and it's only right for her to continue. What's she going to do? Change the whole premise of her show? She don't know how to be anything else.
Overall, I'm not a fan of none of it. Love and hip hop. I ain't seen the hip hop artists really on a valid hip hop artist and love hip hop
I don't watch
since
that
the day
show
the
no
show
more.
started. So I
That
don't
ain't
put no
my.
validity.
I don't like
Uh,
seeing grown people in their late 30s and 40s pulling each other's hair out. I just think
when
that's like so stupid.
somebody call me and I don't want to tell them where I'm at, I be like, yo, I'm at the studio. Because that's what they do. Love it. Everybody in Love Hip Hop is on the studio. Ain't nobody dropped a damn record yet. Get the fuck out of here.
That's the excuse
I mean,
for
this is
people
how I
who.
feel. Like I said, I wish her well, but I'm not a fan of hers. I'm a fan of hers just as much as I'm a fan of Iyanla Van Zant. Y'all know how I feel about Iyanla. So
But another one, she making her coins because she telling you what you need to do with your life. She could barely walk.
listen, beloved, you're a fraud. Uh, yo, I'm going to get some phone calls about that. I feel whatever.
Listen, and
Um,
yep, you should. I mean, but at the end of the day,
fine.
she's just the replacement of back in the day when people was calling Miss Cleo. People was calling her. She made millions.
You
So
comparing the young to Miss Cleo?
yeah, people
I
want to
just
know
want to put
about
on
their
record
life.
that I just want to put on record that you did that, not me. Call me now, babies.
And people was like,
Before we wrap
Miss
up,
Cleo. All right, go ahead.
before we wrap up, we have some sad news to report. Olivia Newton-John passed away this week at the age of 73. There's no way you don't know who Olivia Newton-John is, but if you
Impossible.
don't, right now, Freeform is showing Grease for 24 hours. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying? I ain't
I
even
know all the
front.
words. I just watched Grease like a month ago, but I know all the words, so it's like
I've watched Grease, but you know what my problem with Grease is?
what?
Ain't no black people in Grease.
No, there's one in the crowd. There's one.
Nah, yo, ain't no black people in Greece. And then on top of that, Greece takes place at a point in time where these cats were segregated and all that. You know what I'm saying? So, as far as I'm concerned, Greece was
There, no, I
racist.
was thinking when I was watching it the last time, I was like, there should be a black Grease because that
I'm
would
being
be funny.
I'm being facetious when I say this, but you ain't gonna tell me that Danny and Sandy wasn't racist. You know what I'm saying? Now Rizzo was a jump. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say Rizzo or Frenchie was racist because they look like they hung out with some black folks. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what this is about. Olivia Newton-John, literally from watching television, is literally one of the sweetest people that can be.
Right.
She recently passed away. She had been battling breast cancer,
Right.
I believe, for a while now.
No, for
Her
30
husband
years.
but I think it had stepped up because in like 2018, she said she was treating cancer at like the base of her spine,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like her third diagnosis
And then it
because she
traveled
did fight it in the 90s and previously
and went into
before.
remission,
Her
right?
husband Yeah, her husband released a statement and said Dame Olivia Newton-John passed away peacefully at her ranch in Southern California this morning, surrounded by family and friends. We ask that everyone please respect the family's privacy during this very difficult time. Olivia has been a symbol of triumphs and hopes for over 30 years, sharing her journey with breast cancer. So if you're not familiar, as I said again, Olivia Newton-John, she was already a very popular singer in the
Mm-hmm.
70s, but
Mm-hmm.
when she did Grease with John Travolta, this is literally probably I want to say the most. Can we say the most famous
Oh,
musical
definitely.
film of
Grease
all
has been
time?
on Broadway for probably like, I don't know, over like 40 years.
Yeah, and what's crazy is when she did the movie, she didn't have a lot of acting experience.
No,
Um, so she fed a lot off of John
John
Travolta
Travolta.
during that time, which was amazing. In her life, she's had some amazing things that she had overcome. Her breast cancer diagnosis, it I believe it actually caused her to like cancel a bunch of her different tours. In 2005, she was dating Patrick McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he actually disappeared at sea. He was never found. So she's dealt with so much stuff in her life that every time there was a win, you couldn't help but cheer for her. Like, it's and my mom loved Grease. And every girl I've ever dated was like, you have to watch
You
Grease with me.
loved it. Yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
the
saying?
thing about it is
It's
Grease is like
hard
the
to
first.
say.
I'm not a musical lover at all. Like, not a
Mm.
fan at all. But Grease is the only musical that I loved. Like, it was good. I feel like I should go watch that now.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's on TV. It's on TV. The funny thing about it all, that's happening now is that, um, it literally comes at a time where, like, now, musicals are super popular. Everything from Hamilton to,
Mm-hmm.
I think, what was it, In the Heights, last year. So it's a lot of great things. John Travolta actually paid tribute to her, and stated, he actually, had a throwback picture of him and her, with a heartfelt message, and the message said, "You're Danny." Um, Olivia Newton-John, was a four-time Grammy Award winner, so she definitely created and left a lasting impact, which is amazing. So definitely prayers to her and her family. Um, Also, the death of, Teddy Ray. Um,
Comedian.
if you're not
Mm-hmm.
familiar with Teddy Ray, you are sorely missing out, and I implore you to go to YouTube, once you finish watching, this show. Well, you're probably watching the show on YouTube. Teddy Ray was a comedian who, um, you could see him on, HBO, Max's Pause with Sam J. He was a constant, contributor on the Comedy Central Network. He also did, Russell Simmons, comedy jams. He's
Mm-hmm.
done, All Deaf Digital. He's created so many moments. If you've ever heard the thing where it goes, "What you out here doing? Double cheeked up on Thursday, hella ass." That's Teddy Ray. He
So
recently
young.
passed. There's no news on his passing as of yet, as far as the cause. That's
I
actually
did see
being.
the calls. He had a heart attack.
Oh, really? When did they announce that? Was that today?
A friend in his post announced it, mentioned it. It
Oh,
hasn't
wow.
been in the news, but a friend of I was on one of his posts, and his friend was like he had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
So
That's good.
too
But
young,
yeah,
too young.
we're constantly losing, these amazing creative people. As we tell you every other time when something like this happens, please be sure to give the people that you love, especially those who are our creators, their flowers, and let them know how you feel about them, because we never know, uh, when they're not going to be with us anymore.
That's it.
So,
Of
um,
course, Will wants to end on this little
I
sad note.
hate that for ending the show on this.
Like,
So let's
all right,
let's
guys. Well,
let's well, no, let's okay. Let's go ahead and top it off. So let's, finish the show off normally. Shakir, what are you listening to? What are you watching currently?
I'm not. I right now. I'm reading, studying. I'm not listening or watching to anything right now. I have my hands up right now. I'm studying for this test, and that's kind of where all my focus has been. Besides, social media checks. So I'm not watching anything. I'm focused right now. I'm trying to be.
There you
Let's put
go.
it that way.
There you go. Knock it out.
What about you?
Right now I'm watching Prey on Hulu. Um, I'm actually doing some work with a friend, helping them with a documentary that they're creating on Black cinema in the '90s. So I'm rewatching like Meteor Man, Blank Man, stuff
Those
like
were so
that. Where,
good.
like,
They were
you,
funny.
you
They
know what's
were
funny?
they were funny.
What's funny is that these shows now are like cult classics, but at the time they were panned. Like,
Well,
both of
people
those
didn't
movies made
like.
eight.
They didn't make that much money, and people didn't like that Robert Townsend was stepping out the box, and really being creative. They weren't ready for that, especially not a Black man.
Him and Kerry Wayans do not get enough credit in my mind.
No,
Like
totally.
the things that they created and they were part of, like people forget that they were part of Eddie Murphy's Raw. Like
Yep.
he and Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend go back. Robert Townsend also directed episodes of Black Lightning, which ran up and just until maybe last year, which was
Right.
another Black superhero. What was disappointing to me in watching these films and like analyzing from what we're doing right now is they both got 8 million in the box office. It took Meteor Man 20 million to make. And if you remember Meteor Man was like the who's who in Black culture for that
No,
movie.
but I think a lot of those shows spent way more money making them than they actually did
Yeah.
receiving profit. And so it was more about the passion behind it. And I think he knew, that it might not be received, but it was his vision. And my thing is, that's why it's important to continue to support your artists and artistry, because even right now, the more you stream and watch that right now, they can still get checks from it.
Yeah, man, do yourself a favor, yo. I don't think there's anything major coming on this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Sit down and watch Meteor Man, Blank Man, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Mo Money. Sit down and watch the first couple seasons of In Living Color.
Classics.
You know what I'm saying?
Watch
Like,
the whole season. Watch
if you wanna
all
catch-
of In Living Color again.
if you want to catch my favorite version of Halle Berry, watch Strictly Business.
Yes.
Most people don't remember Strictly Business.
Strictly
Yo,
Business was
Halle
the
Berry.
bomb. But I was into watching that, and that's why when TV was good and going to the movies was good, because it was way more Black faces on there, way more creativity. Not to slight anybody out here today, but I feel like, Black creatives are still a little muffled, and sometimes are scared to go outside the box now because they don't feel it'll be accepted. And we have way more rain now. People can shoot a movie on anything for the most part. But I would like to get back to those, real solid stories, real comedians in them, and just, so support the arts. Whatever y'all do the rest for your weekends, we don't have to wait till Black History Month to be like, oh, we're gonna go out and buy this Black or buy that Black. Like, you can actually support Black artistry now.
Yeah. Like, we got Quinta Brunson out here. We got Issa Rae, which rap shit is dope. If you haven't watched rap shit yet, you need to watch rap shit.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it, because it's really not my generation. It's a, I don't know. I am gonna watch it.
Are you 50?
I feel like it some days, yeah, but I don't know. I haven't been like, oh, I gotta watch that, because it's not on my radar like it's a must right now. So I
sat up here and said people need to support black
yeah, but I'm just saying that rap that I don't think that it's not that I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
Y'all, she don't like Beyonce. So
whatever. All right, it has been a wonderful, wonderful show. Ignore Will because he just being Will. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna ignore him, and I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Culture Gumbo. As always, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. And until we meet again next week, peace. Will, last
keep
words?
the main thing. Like, follow, and subscribe. Go flirt with an auntie this weekend. Take me to get some pancakes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Treat it good.
Flirt with an auntie and take them to get pancakes.
Flirt with an auntie. T-shirts are coming soon.
All right. Look out. Next up.